here to talk about Frank Henderson today. And we've got a living legend with us, Jimmy Howe. If anybody knows anything about Frank Henderson, it's going to be Jimmy. Jimmy, what do you got to say to Frank? He's retiring from coaching, and you were right ahead of him. What have you got to say?
Well, I think he's too young to retire. He ought to stay in there and go a few more years, but I hate to see him leave. He's a good coach, and we need him in the St. Louis program dearly.
Why do you think he is retiring? You got any insight?
Oh, Frank's got an awful lot of trouble with his legs. He has trouble walking, and he told me he could no longer stand in the gym. He has to sit, and a coach has to feel like he's in the workout, and it's kind of hard for him with his physical condition.
You know, first time I ever met Frank was in Fine Lawn Gym. He come walking in, and Freddie Jones.
Right.
Freddie, and he worked out a little bit that day. It was right after he just come back from Vietnam. What did you think first time you saw him?
Well, I didn't know he had fought in St. Louis, but I knew he had some fights because he had a nice style. And of course, just coming back from Vietnam, he was really ripped. And we worked with him, had several fights here in St. Louis. We went to a tournament in Ottawa, Illinois. I can't remember the young man's name. He's a Hispanic. He was #1 in the nation. And Frank beat him in that tournament. So he was a very capable young fighter, but he had to make a living, and he was a police officer. And so his job kind of interfered with him with his training, and then he switched to the Highway Patrol, and he got stuck out of town. So we lost him for some time, and then he called me one day, or may have stopped in the gym, and he said, I'm coming back to this area, and he said, I want to help you coach if I can. I said, buddy, I'd love to have you. Come on back. So we had a lot of good teams, and went to a lot of nationals and a lot of pro fights, and he was really a big help. The easiest guy in the gym to work with.
Frank's he's real well-mannered and easy guy to talk to.
Right.
I think that was Jesse Valdez.
Jesse Valdez, you're right, it was.
I fought in the same tournament.
Yeah. I think you won it, didn't you?
Pardon me?
You won it?
I won the tournament.
Yeah.
Frank, I think he lost it.
He lost in the finals.
Right.
I don't know, don't remember who he lost to, but.
Well, he made a statement the last time Jose and I were with him. He said, you and Jimmy Holler are the only two guys left that saw me fight Valdez. Well, thanks, Jimmy. You had some good things to say, and I'm sure Frank's going to appreciate it.
Well, my pleasure, and like I said, I hate to see the man get out of it, but I know he's got some physical problems, and he's not one to mess with politics. He hates all in and out fighting in the gym, so I wish him all the luck. Frank and I talk once a week, at least, sometimes twice a week, and so I'll be keeping in touch with him, but I hate to see him go.
You know, you were our first recipient of this, what we do for coaches retiring, so it's really good to hear from you. And it's good to know that you think so highly of Frank.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Well, we're back again, Frank. We brought a good guy in here, a guy that I know you think the world of. Victor Weber.
All right,
Victor,
Tom.
You know what I think about you, buddy. He's been a former boxer. He's on the All-Marine Boxing Hall of Fame. He's a Marine, served, and we want to thank you for your service among everything else that you do for fighters.
You're welcome.
He's a good friend of Frank's. Frank, Victor wants to say a few things to you and congratulate you on your retirement. Victor?
Okay, my friend. Hard to believe that it has come to an end. Back in 1995, I seen this little old Marine sitting in the corner, working in one corner, 1995. And came over just to say hi from one Marine to the next. Had no idea we was going to become lifelong friends. That's been, what, 26 years ago?
Long time.
Long time. And he been a true friend ever since. And you're gonna be missed greatly. You know, I've learned a great deal from you. I learned how to deal with the kids and the art of boxing in general. I know you've forgotten more than I ever know. So I really appreciate you being there and sticking with me, giving me the opportunity to coach under you. It's been fun. And the kids already is telling me how much they miss you already. You know, I talked to your boy Justin the other day. He said, "Man, I can't believe Frank leaving." I said, "Well, everything gotta, you know, come to an end someday." But we really appreciate what you have done. And I know I have any question that you're always gonna be there. And once again, Frank, thanks, man. You've been a great friend and a great coach. And you'll never be forgotten.
And he never gets too excited, does he?
Never.
He's very, very calm.
Low key all the time.
He's so good in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
I know we had one fighter in here, and he said Jimmy was also in the corner, Jimmy Howell, and he told him, he said, just stay away from him a little bit. And he said, Frank just whispered in his ear, go get him.
Right.
He knocked him out that round.
I recall that one too.
Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot to say, but it meant something.
Oh, yeah, all the
Victor,
time.
I know Frank really appreciates you coming.
Yes.
I know that, I know you and him are growing to be pretty close.
Oh, yes, yes, most definitely.
If you were a boxer and you were a Marine, you and Frank are like brothers.
All right.
Thank you,
Through and
Victor.
through. I appreciate it, Tom.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks for you all giving me an opportunity to, to speak to my friend, and you all putting it together for him. I know he's gonna love it, and I know he's gonna appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, and he deserves it. Yeah, he really deserves it.
Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
He stopped by and wants to say a few things to you. Brian, you want to talk to Frank?
What's going on, Coach? What's going on, Coach? You know how much you meant to me coming up as a kid. Like you, my father, my actual father, and my football coach, I say, with the most influential, and Jam. I can't forget Jam. Was most influential guys I had coming up in my life. Without you all, I don't know where I'd be at. You know, you all taught me discipline, hard work, and the importance of that. You know, to this day, I still use everything that you taught me, you know, to succeed in life. And it's without you, I don't know where I'd be at. So, you know, I got so many good stories, so many good years. I'm about 16, 17 years in now since I've been knowing you. And since day one, you always been the same, you know. And you always told me, if you wasn't hard on me, you didn't love me, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to say congratulations, Coach, to a great career, a good retirement, and I love it.
You got anything, any memories of Frank telling you something in the ring in the corner? Or? He was kind of a man of few words, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, but you see, the thing is with Frank, during the fights, specifically during the fights, I wouldn't hear anybody else's voice except Frank's in the corner. Like he would be coaching me through every fight. And I knew if I heard his voice, I was comfortable. You know, if I heard him tell me what to do, I knew I was doing good. You know, so I got so many memories. I can't point out just one, but definitely during the fights for sure. I just remember just hearing his voice, just thinking every time, telling me what to do. Jab, jab, move your head, keep your hands up, move your head, jab. Instead of, you know, fight off the turn. You know, to this day, you know, I still remember that. You know.
Would have been different without him, wouldn't it?
Oh man,
Well, he was dedicated.
Oh man, without Frank, you don't have too many coaches like Frank. You got Frank, you got Buddy Shaw, Jim Howell, and you had Kenny. You know, those were the legends of my generation.
They're all up there together, ain't they?
Yes sir, the Four Horsemen.
Ryan, I know Frank's going to be real thrilled with what you got to say and what you had to say about him. And I'm sure that he is a friend. He'll be a friend forever.
Oh yeah, yes sir.
And we're going to have a get together for him here soon. You make sure you get back here and see him.
I'll be there for sure.
We got to give him a send off. Thank you.
All right then.
Frank, we're back again. We got an old fighter here who's an old fighter and a new fighter, and he's still a fighter. Brandon Martin. Brandon, I know you had some times with Frank in the gym. You want to speak for him a little bit and congratulate him on his retirement?
I got so many memories with Coach Frank. I can probably sit here and talk for hours. Coach Frank has always been like a father figure to me. Coach Frank has taught me things in the gym, in the ring, and things outside of the ring. So actually, one of the main things I remember from when I first met Coach Jim, when I first met Coach Frank, I came in the gym my first day and told Coach Frank that I wanted to box. So Coach Frank said, "Are you left-handed or right-handed?" So I told him I was right-handed. So he said, let me see your stance." So I showed him my stance, which I had my right hand up front, and he was like, "Okay," but he didn't correct me. So I was thinking like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm doing good." So he said, "Get in the ring, let me see how your footwork look." So I got in the ring, and I knew I couldn't, I didn't really know how boxers move around, how they dance around the ring and all that stuff. So Coach Frank went out, he let me do it for about a whole round, then he stopped me, he said, "What you say your name was again, son?" I was like, "Brandon." He said, "Well, Brandon, can you dance?" I was like, "No." He said, "Oh, makes sense. That's why you ain't got footwork." So I sat back and thought about it. I asked him, I said, "So you telling me since I can't dance, I won't be a good boxer?" He said, "No, that's not what I'm telling you." So I asked him like 1,000 more questions, but he never would give me the real direct answer. But the reason is for that is because he's the type of person that he wants you to figure it out yourself, which makes you stronger mentally and physically because you taking the actual steps to better yourself in that category, no matter what it is, whether it's something with boxing or whether it's something outside of the ring. So on top of that, years later on down the line, he started taking me to help prepare the police officers in the Guns and Hoses event, which I love. And I've been doing that for the last 6 years. And it's kind of like I done built a relationship with all the police officers to the point to where like now I'm actually pursuing that as a career. I'm actually in the police academy right now because of something that Coach Frank helped me start. So like I would like to tell Coach Frank, like, I love you as a person, a coach, a father, everything. You always had my back with everything. You always told me right from wrong. And if I was doing something wrong, you would pull me to the side and let me know, hey, you doing this wrong. You should do it this way. But at the same time, you always let me be a man. It let me go off my own mind frame and let me kind of figure it out on my own. But you never would let me fall down. You would always help me. You would stop me before I get there and, kind of help me out a little bit. So I appreciate you and love you for that.
Well, that's real nice, Brandon. I'm glad you got some nice things to say, and I'm glad you got some memories of Frank, because he's just a super guy, and you take those memories with you for everybody. I want to thank you for coming in and talking tonight. Thank you.
Could I say one more thing? One more thing I forgot. Everybody know Coach Frank for this. Be first. When you get in that ring, Coach Frank, his main thing he always say, be first. I don't care what you do, but be first. Meaning to those people that don't know, he just telling you, make sure if you in that ring, make sure you punch first, or make sure you move first, whatever the case may be. Do something before your opponent do it, inside or outside the ring. Just be first.
Thanks, Frank. Frank, we got a fighter here that wants to say a few words for you. Minaj, you've been in his corner for three fights. That's what he's had, and you've been there for all three of them, and you've trained him. He'd like to say a few words to you. Minaj?
Well, first and foremost, I do appreciate you and everything you've done for me. Coming into the gym, February 2019 is when I first walked through those doors. And I'd say it's honestly been quite a journey, especially towards my growth coming from being a wrestler to transition to boxing is completely different. But having you in my corner made the transition pretty seamless. I also like the fact that, we always had conversations about boxing, because I always liked the old timers, so you always got me with Jake LaMotta, or if it's Sugar Ray, or it can be Jose Torres. Any of the old boxers, we can always talk about boxing whenever. And I really appreciated that because you always gave me tips towards being a better fighter. One thing I do appreciate is that you always believed in me. You always sit there and you always stayed on me. As soon as I walk in through the doors, whether I'm speaking a half language, as you would say, or any other thing, or just coming in with new proverbs or anything like that you didn't understand, you just question and look at me and just say, perhaps, and just keep it going. As Vic said earlier, pretty low-key fella, always calm and composed, real funny, real funny. I keep that in mind. One thing I also appreciate is that basically you helped everybody in a sense. Justin, me, Radford, Corey, you always kept our heads straight. You always made sure I was keeping check on everybody, especially when you dubbed me captain of the team. That was also an interesting thing because I remember having a prior talk about it. I just came in one day and all of a sudden I'm captain, so there was that. But it was a great experience all in all. It's also a journey that I'm going to keep on pursuing because I want to get better at this, especially when I go pro. And you definitely helped me with my aspirations. So I do appreciate that as well. Man, like I said, this has been such a journey and it's quite a shock, but I'm still going to hit you up. I'm still going to bother you, so you don't got to worry about that. I'm still going to be texting you at 11 p.m. asking you questions, sending you videos on my forum, asking you questions on what I can improve on. So I'm still going to be there hitting you up. And once again, I appreciate you for everything.
Thank you, Minaj. That was some real nice stuff. You can really tell that you had a real friendship with Frank. And I think everybody did. I think it's a good thing. Well, thank you, buddy.
No problem, no problem.
Jose, Frank, you know Jose. We had dinner together.
That's right.
he's just a super guy.
Yeah.
You know, this is about you, Frank, but I gotta throw this out here. I don't know anybody nicer than Jose.
Ah, stop it.
And you know what? I can only say one word in Spanish, and it's uno. So
Uno.
he's uno.
You're so
Frank,
bad.
I want to talk to Jose. You know, tell me what you think of Frank. I know you've met him. I know that you've talked to him, and you've been in the circles for a long time around here.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think Frank, I met Frank almost 20 years ago. Frank never was my number one coach or you know, he wasn't the main coach of my gym, but when I used to go to North County, I know that he was the man that was holding mitts for me sometimes, and that means a lot. And one of the best memories that I have from Coach Frank is that for my third professional fight, I was sitting with Mike Shipley, and I didn't have a coach on that night. Mike said, you know what, don't worry, I got somebody for you. So he called Coach Frank. So Coach Frank was in my corner.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, doing my third professional fight. We didn't get the win because, you know, I hurt my hand.
You got in there, though, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I got in there.
You don't have to have the win.
Absolutely, I got in there. It was a 4-round tough fight, but Coach Frank was right next to me, and I can felt, even though he wasn't my number one coach, I can feel, you know, that this man, he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, wow.
His instructions, and you're right. He will be first, Jose, be first. I mean, and I know that. And that was one of the main things that I remember too. He was so calm, very knowledgeable of the game. And after that, I gave him my, big thanks, because I don't think that anybody could have done that. The same day before, to come over and be in my corner, that's very special. Yeah. So after that week, I feel like I always had that respect from towards him, and I think that this is what I love doing, and I feel like this is the main thing that we kind of like doing this for him, because I feel like not only him, there's so many coaches here in St. Louis that we don't give the credit when the credit is due. Like the old saying, like give the man the flowers, when he's alive.
Yeah,
all right.
Good way to put it.
Yes, and I think that he's one of those. He's a leader. He's a good person, good man. He's a father to so many people out there. Right. So we have to do more of this. And I'm just thankful for that, and humble for the opportunity to be talking about Coach Frank, because he's a great man. Yeah. And I didn't know so many things about Coach Frank, to be honest. That I knew that he was in the military, mm-hmm. right? And I knew he was a patrol, highway patrol. I just found out a couple of years ago about that highway patrol. I seen him in a picture, like I said, what is this? Yeah. He was the uniform as a highway patrol, and I take my hat off to him, because so many things that Coach Frank has done for the community, and I think that it is good for everybody to know that this wasn't only a man that comes on every day. North County wasn't only from 5 to 7 just coaching on Saturday. No, he was also a role model and a example.
He lived it.
Yeah, everything in and out of the ring. Yeah. So my hat off to Coach Frank. I appreciate everything you have done, not only to me, to everybody in the St. Louis and the St. Louis community. And I feel like we need more people like you, Coach Frank. So thank you, and I just can't wait to see you when we get together soon. Isn't that right?
That's right, buddy.
All
We're
right.
going to do it too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
These men right here, we got to do something for these men right here too. Because Frank, I'm going to be calling you. I'm going to be calling a lot of people for this one.
You know what you can do for me?
Stop
You know what
it.
you can do for me?
What can I do for you?
Big bottle of Advil.
Stop it. You get out of here, bro. We good.
Thanks, Jose. Hey, Frank, it's my turn. And I think that me and you go back as far as anybody in town. I remember the first time you walked in the Pine Lawn gym. We've talked about that many times. So I guess you and I go back as far as anybody together. And you've never been a coach to me, but you've been a friend, partner. And I've seen you coach. And I know what you've done with your life, and you've really done some great things. And I'm not blowing smoke, buddy. I'm talking from the heart. I've seen you help guys. I've seen you work hard with guys. You know, I mean, you came back, you're a war veteran from Vietnam, and you were the friendliest guy. And we went up to Ottawa together and fought up there together in that AAU thing, and we've been all over. And you've just always been special. You're one of the guys that, you're a man of few words, and we all know that. But when you speak, it's got some validity to it. It means something, and you can bet that when you say something, it's going to be on the mark. You tell a fighter what he needs to do, it's going to be what he needs to do. You just don't have a lot of that jibber jabber. You're just right down to the point all the time, and that's the way you've been with your friends. And you've just been an honest friend. You've been a good friend. And when I see you walk into tournaments, I seen you walk in the gloves or anything, I just smile because, like I said, we go way back. You've been a highway patrolman. You've been in the service. You've did a lot of community service in your life, and I got nothing but good things to say about you, buddy. I love you, and you know that. And like I've told you before, if the world got along like me and you, it'd be a better place. So I just want to tell you that I know you're giving it up. I know you got some reasons, and we're all getting old, but you know, you've done well. I'm sure the good Lord's got a spot for you. I'll see you, Frank. I'll see you at the get-together. Goodbye, buddy.
Coach Frank to me was like the father figure I never had. He was always there for me, always making sure I got to the gym. I mean, I could talk to him about anything. Always pushed me to be the best me I could be. He knew my potential, he saw my potential, so he stayed on me, like always pushed me. But I don't know, and then like he was just one of the best coaches I ever had in my life. He taught me everything I know up until this point. I still think about some of the things that he's taught me since I first started boxing. But he's been very beneficial to my life and my success, and I'm thankful for that. I can call Coach Frank till this day and talk to him about anything. And before every fight, even now, I still always call him just to get his input, because Coach Frank has a sharp mind. I don't care what nobody say, he knows boxing. Seriously, he knows boxing. So I'm appreciative to have him in my life. And Coach Frank, I love you. Appreciate everything. And you're an amazing man. Thank you.
2, 1, go.
Hey, how you doing, Frank? Just want to wish you happy retirement. We've had a lot of good times over the years, fighting in the professional ranks, fighting as an amateur. You're always there to help out everybody. You helped me out tremendously with several of my fights, and I thank you for that. And just thank you for being you, Frank. You was always in the gym. You're always there every day. You're always dependable. Always there. I hope you enjoy the rest of your life with your retirement. I hope to see you at the fights, out in the crowd enjoying the fights, because I know you love boxing. So be good, man. Have a good time in your retirement, and I'll see you soon.
2, 1, go.
Hey, what's happening? I want to do a shout out to Frank Henderson. I want to tell you, Frank, congratulations on the retirement. I wish you the best. Man, we had so much fun in the amateurs, pros. Frank was helpful. He came pick me up. He looked out for me. Always came. Frank is a generation trainer. Frank looked out for me. He looked out for my sons, my cousins. I mean, we started off in the amateurs, went to the pros. When I fought for the world title. Frank is a top-notch trainer. He care about you. He call, check on you. Make sure you're in good shape. You're not coming around. He call and check. He's a caring coach. And I don't know what to say, but he's great. Best of the best, baby. Congratulations, Frank, on the retirement, man. Have a great time with your retirement, Frank.
Hey, Frank, I saved the best for last, buddy. We got your family here, and boy, they're a bunch of neat people, I'll tell you. We got your son, William Bobo. We got Ashley, and we got Jasmine. And they got a lot to say about you, I'm sure, pal. So Jasmine's gonna go first. And let's see what she got to say, and we're gonna have a little open conversation at the end. Jasmine,
okay.
Say hello to Frank there on the phone.
Okay. Hey, Frank, love you. Really, I guess I just wanted to say that I'm proud of you for everything that you've done. I love how much that you are dedicated to, boxing and helping the kids and just like continuing on with that in the community. I think that's very cool. For me, you came into my life when I was, how was I, middle school? No, elementary school. In elementary school, and for the most part, I would say the most impactful thing was you being there for me when I was having boy problems in high school. I was going through some issues, and he was very much there for me when I needed him to be, and he's always been there for us, just as a father. Him being our stepfather, he stepped up like any man should, really, who comes into kids' lives that aren't his own. So I appreciate you for that, and I love you, and that's it.
Thank you, Jasmine.
You're welcome.
Very sweet. Hey, Frank, we heard from Jasmine. I thought she said some real nice things about you, buddy. And now Ashley wants to say a few words to you. She's a little bit uptight and doesn't like to speak in front of people, but she said she's going to work her way through this because she cares about you, Frank. Ashley, you got anything to say to Frank? I know you do.
Yep. Hey, Frank. First off, I want to thank you for everything you've done for the family, being there for us as young adults and until today as well. You've been there since I was a teenager. I came into our lives at a time where, we're growing, trying to understand ourselves and trying to become young adults, right? And I know in the beginning, you coming in as our stepfather, you're a strong man, and we bumped heads here and there, but I've grown to love you as my father. And you've been there for my kids, your grandboys adore you. And I feel like you've made a big impact in my life. Again, starting off when I was a teenager, you've helped me become a young adult. You set us up, for our schooling and just preparing us for savings. And I just really adore you, and I appreciate everything you've done. And, it's all the passion you have with, mentoring and helping folks get through their careers with boxing. And, you strive and go so hard to the point where, you can see it and it's in you. And we appreciate that, and I'm sure my boys will learn a lot from you as well. So love you, and thank you for being there for us.
Thank you, Ashley. That was very nice. back, Frank. This time we got William, better known as Bobo. We had to get him to take his hat off and show us that pretty face.
Hey.
Bobo, I know you got things to say about Frank. You wanna talk to him?
Of course. I'm the youngest out the family. I go by Boom Boom, better known as Boom Boom Bam Senior. After the fighter, Frank named me. Been in my life since I was about 6 years old. Got right in the ring about 8 years old. Ever since then, it's been my first love, my first sport, first love. So is him, so is he. And he's taught me things inside and out the gym. I turned to a coach at 17, just following Frank's footsteps. And we got a lot of, kids off the street into the gym and doing something important with their time and lives, And the one thing I learned from Frank that most of his fighters and most of his friends know, the key thing with Frank is discipline. He's all about discipline, man. You just put your heart to it, your mind to it, and he has a focus thing. It's about focusing with me. He wants me to stay on track and stay focused on everything I do, not giving up on any goals or tasks, but he was a great role model and leader and also father to me growing up, being the age I was when he came into my life. But he treated my sisters great, my mother great, and the rest of my family all love him. So I have 2 sons as well, they both love him. So but Frank's a great coach also. Frank's, to me, one of the greatest coaches I've seen. I've learned so many skills coming, first-hand combat with, just fighting, growing up into fighting. So, yeah, I can say that'd be his best trait I've learned from him was discipline in my life. So, of course, we all love you, Frank. I know everyone hopes and wishes you have plenty more years in the boxing world. Give them tips and whatever they need, motivation they need to keep going. So, yep.
Thank you, Bobo. That was real nice. I'm sure he's gonna appreciate that. Can we just have a little open conversation here, Jose, from this point? Yes, sir. I got a question for y'all. Okay, my youngest daughter. I was a school teacher and my wife was a school teacher, and I heard her say to one of her friends one time, I don't have a chance in the world with 2 parents as teachers. Because of the discipline and doing the homework. I met Frank when I was 17 years old. I'm 69. And Frank he's always been disciplined, extremely disciplined. And what was he like at home? Is he like that at home, really? I mean, I know Frank's got a loving side to him, I know that. But I mean, was he really as disciplined as he is on himself with you guys?
Who want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I'll go. Well, Frank at work. Frank at home versus Frank doing work outside, or in the gym. It's pretty much the same thing. You're gonna get that same straight up, stubbornness and straight to it, discipline.
Well, you know what
he's always on your back.
I always said that he was a man of few words, but when he said something, you need to listen.
There you go.
You agree with that? And you know what? He makes a lot of sense. He's that discipline that he's, got with himself. That's what got him where he's at. He came out of a bad situation in Vietnam. He went into the gym. He wanted to be a police officer. He became a police officer. He dedicated his life to boxing. I mean, that takes a lot of discipline, And I always figured if Frank would ever stop me on Highway 61, he would have gave me a tip. Because that was the rules,
Yep.
Anybody got anything else to offer? I'm sure you guys. I know, Ashley, you don't want to talk about but you did real well. You really did. I thought it went good.
Frank singing. What he singing? Frank sings.
Yeah, in the car, we'll be in the car going places, and he'll be turning on his, what is it?
Temptation. Our Boys to Men.
Boys to Men, yeah.
We sang the Temptations going up to Jeff City, didn't we?
Yep. He loved the Temptations.
Yeah,
he introduced all of us to the Temptations. Yeah. We didn't know him. We knew him at a young age.
Which song?
Well, that was just.
I mean, just like the whole.
He played the David Ruff and
and then
the My Girl a lot.
He loved the Fire Movement, so I want you guys watch it all. Like you watch it. So all of the music, love that old school, like.
would be in the car, we'd be on the way to school in the morning, he would go drop me off, and I'd be singing something, and he'd be like, well, as soon as I got off key, because he could hear it, you know, he could hear it, and I'd be like, am I off? I feel like I was right.
I know I'm on Facebook with Frank, and he's constantly putting old Motown stuff on there, or somebody singing something, you know, something you like.
He probably does it to himself in the car a lot, but I remember one time we were in Frank get respects around like military and athletes, also the police force. So like it was a time we were running late. My mom was running late for work. He's speeding down the highway, and a trooper gets behind him. You know, he was a trooper before. As soon as this trooper gets on the side of the doors, he's like, "Oh, officer, Mr. Frank, Mr. William, sorry man, I pulled you over. Why were you speeding so fast?" And he looks over at him, you know, in his face, you know, he's like sarcastically said, "Well, my wife's late for work." He literally lets us go, you know. So he gets a lot of respect, you know. Everyone loves him, so yeah. He used to scare us around the house a lot too. He has military feet, so being in Vietnam, you know, he walks very light. So he'll come around the living room. We had a living room on one side, then you come around the dining room on the other side. You'll see the blinds moving or something. You're like, what's standing there? He come out of the skirt hole.
Moves like a cat, right?
Yeah, he does.
But no, Frank is a true protector, and all that service and training he had, he made me feel safe. I recall one time we were driving home in a car, and we stopped at a light, and a car banged into the back of our car, and I jerked. And this man, he was like, "Wait, everybody okay?"
He grabbed her first, and he grabbed everyone.
Yeah, the guy ran.
The man ran, and he went into a ditch, and Frank got out that car and pinned this man down.
VA Durango chased him right down. Make sure my sister went and called him.
Scared, but safe at the same time. So I was like, I know he knows what he's doing.
Was it you or Jasmine that went and called? Went to a neighbor's house or something?
But we were right there by the house after we chased him down. Like, there they go.
I think the person was like tried to run and realized he couldn't do it, so he finally stopped before he got to the house.
Pinned him there till the police got there. Police offered him a job on the spot. I said, but that was they did. They said, "You ever think about coming back to the force?" He's like, "Oh, I'm retired," but that was the bravest act I ever seen. You know, the bravest one I ever seen. Like anyone I know took that much in him to just go after the guy. You know, just hurt my family and you know.
All I did was ask you guys one simple question. And look what I got, you know. Well, Frank, it's plain to see that you're Frank.
Yeah.
You're Frank that we know too, you know, and you really did a good job at your family, Frank. It's really good to see your kids are happy about you. I'm just thrilled to death knowing you as long as I have. And I guess that's it, buddy. We all need to say goodbye, Frank. We'll see you.
See you, Frank.
Bye now.